I'm continuing with this series on burnout, and today I wanted to go into what to do when you are in that place, when you are completely exhausted from your work and burned out, feeling burned out. What can you do? And you still have to maintain or keep working and doing what you're doing. So in last week's videos on hustle culture, in one of the videos I talked about what to do when you're doing crazy hours, and one of the suggestions was around knowing your limits. Like, this is where I am productive up to this point, and beyond that I am no longer productive. And for myself, I could work up to 75 hours in a week, and then beyond that I started noticing that my productivity went like exponentially down. Like, yes, at 75 hours I was still exhausted and I was worn out, but I could still think, I could still get things done. But anything beyond that, it was way too many hours for me. And then I started messing up, or I just couldn't think straight, or like I would break down crying, or wanting to break down crying when someone said, "Hey, can you do this?" And I would be like, wow, that's a big task. And really, in general, it's not a big task, but it would feel like it suddenly. So, offering up knowing your limits, because then you can also know for yourself and set limits or boundaries for yourself. And then, like I mentioned, managing your managers. So that as well, you could then say, hey, at this time, I'm now beyond my limit, or I am reaching my limit. It is time for me to go home now, and I will continue tomorrow, and there might be fears or concerns of like, oh, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to, like, not have work because I'm actually standing up for myself. Well, in standing up for yourself, you're actually going to be more productive, and you're actually going to get the work done. And that's what really matters in the end, is getting the work done. So if it's, oh, I'll keep working because that's what they want, you're not really taking care of yourself. So it is about setting these boundaries and limits for yourself. And in, again, setting those boundaries and limits, you can then be more productive. And that's, again, what they want, is the productivity. So I offer those things up with the hustle culture videos, but then as well, when you're in the thick of it, how to take care of yourself. And I found that when I was there, and I started calling it, I'm in the darkness, because it was this heavy, dark place to be in. It did not feel good, and like I said, it was heavy, it's a kind of place. But when I was in it, there was no way I would do anything extra, like just none, because I was too tired. I was too exhausted. So to actually take care of myself was kind of a like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Even though I wanted to, it's like I really wanted to, but it was, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So the things I offer up, I say as these possibly are, like, could you shift your way of thinking about these things? I don't know. I struggled. I really did. So, like, one of the things is to eat better, eat healthy. And in general, I don't know that I eat healthy myself, So when it came to those crazy hours, I was like, I want the sweets, I want the chocolates, I want anything to give me that little boost of energy. And so it was difficult then to, be able to eat healthier. Thankfully, like the studios that I worked at and I did the crazy hours, they did bring in food, and not always was it healthy food, but when they did, it was nice to have that option. And again, it was nice that they were bringing in the food, especially if we're working those kind of hours, to then have to run out and get lunch and dinner and, all those things. But that said, can you eat healthy and drink water? Like, one of the things for me too was not drinking enough water, and getting those things that your body needs to support it and take care of it. And then as well, talking about drinking water, it's like, yeah, well, then I have to get up and I have to run to the bathroom a lot more. Well, that actually might be a good thing too, because then it gets you up away from what you're doing and you're moving. You're actually shifting and moving. So maybe that's a good excuse as well, of like, I gotta run to the bathroom, and getting you up, and I've talked about this in other videos, where getting you up and moving will help shift and change your thoughts. So just even if you're in it, busy, 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 and then you're like, I need to run to the bathroom now, you get up and shift, it can help you shift your thoughts and do things differently. Maybe if you were stuck, you're able to get unstuck then when you shift and move. So that's the next thing that I offer or suggest, is doing some kind of movement. And if it can be exercise or dancing or moving, whatever you can do when you're in this would help. And I know for myself, it was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Like, to take an hour or however long to go work out, it's not going to happen when I'm in the craziness of this and doing these long hours. But what I could do is I could turn on some music and just dance. Like, I would be at home and just kind of freestyle, let it feel and move and shift. And those things actually did help, because it would also help calm my mind. So then, talking about calming your mind as well, I offer up doing meditations, or getting out in nature, like just going for a walk. And just getting outside can help, because it actually will help your immune system, which the trees, if you're out among trees, actually do emit this chemical that helps our immune system. So if you can get out into nature and be around trees, you'll get that support from them as well. And for myself, like, I'll go out and I'll meditate in nature, or I'll become mindful and present, and I tap into my senses. Like, what do I smell? What do I hear? What do I see? Do I taste anything? What is it that you notice with your senses, rather than just our seeing sense, like the other ones? Then I become present quite quickly, and it gets me out of the ruminating, out of the anxieties, out of the stresses of the everyday. But again, it's just taking a moment to do that. And there was often where it's like, I just would not even take that moment. So me saying that, I want to offer up as well that if you're in this place of burnout and exhaustion, and you're like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen, be okay. Like, be okay with it. Be like, this is where I'm at right now, and I can't do those things. It's too much of another, like, a thing that I have to add on. And it's like, don't have to. Just do it if you want to, give yourself a little self-care, or a little moment of, this will help me, or this will make me feel better. And because I know for myself, it was too difficult to even do some of those things. And then finally, getting sleep. And I know as well, like, to get to sleep when you're in this anxious and your thoughts are running, it's like, can you step away from work? As they always say, leave work at work, and it's like that, when you're in these kind of crazy hours, is really difficult to just be like, yeah, okay, work is there, and I'm now home, and I'm doing my things at home. It's like, no, because you carry that stuff with you. So if it helps to get out and, go walk in nature, do a quick little meditation, even something that's like 5-minute meditation, like, what can help, shift you from your thoughts into a different place. And that's where, over on my Patreon page, the link is in the dialogue box below, but over on my Patreon page, I'm also talking about and connecting with burnout and getting into our bodies, like going from the energy of this place up here, where you're in your thoughts and you're in this energy that's here, and bringing it down and grounding it into our body. So that's where, over on the Patreon page, I'll be going more in depth into things in how the body can support us through these stresses and through the exhaustion of this. So when you're in the thick of this, when you're in the darkness and in this exhaustion, it is really, really difficult to continue and to maintain any other thing outside of work. And I completely get it, and hopefully you're not in this for such a prolonged period, because for myself it was not sustainable. And yeah, I would do it for a few months on end and then it would finish, but that was even too much for me to, continue living that lifestyle, where it was like in and out of this kind of constant exhaustion and then recuperate and then exhaustion and recuperate. So then I ask, is this the life that you want? Is this, the style, and why is it that you're continuing to be in these kind of situations where you're doing these exhausting hours? And for myself, I have found that I am shifting out of that because that is not the lifestyle that I want. That is not how I want to progress forward. And I have, over the years, set up more boundaries for myself and more limits. And I actually find that I do get respect for me being able to say, here's my boundaries, here's what my limits are. I am still just as productive and I am still turning out good work. So again, I bring that back to, if you're concerned about losing your job because you're not doing the hours that others are, I have found when I've set those boundaries and limits that they actually still respect me for the boundaries and limits, but then also see that I am still as productive, if not more productive, than others that do the crazy hours. So if you're in the thick of it, in the darkness, I do wish you well, and I hope that there is an end to it for yourself and that you can go through some recovery time and recuperate from it and get back to a place of what feels normal. At this point, what is normal when you've been in the thick of it like that? So thank you again for joining me today. I'm AmyC with You Finding You. And again, if you are enjoying and getting value out of these videos, do hit that like, share, and subscribe button below. And thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.